Commissioner, Shadow Rock Park, certainly probably not the most famous park in Clark County, 24 acres, dog run, baseball parks, but to the people that live in this area, neighborhood parks like this are lifelines.
They really are, and this one has been in the works for 20 years, and we're almost finished with it, and we're working very hard to next year to finish off the parking and to add some additional trails, because it is such a beautiful park, and you can see the entire valley, and you can see 90% of District B from here.
I guess in an older neighborhood such as yours, a more mature neighborhood, let's just say, where you're redeveloping or refining some parks like this, that's got to be a little bit tougher than building new ones, or is it?
Demographics change and needs change throughout the district. But for this park, what I will tell you, if you've ever been out here on a Saturday, it's very busy. From 7 a.m. to, we have our seniors that come and walk the park or very early in the morning, which is great for the dog run. So that was one of the first, and actually it was one of the first dog runs within Clark County as a whole. They were the trendsetters on having that type of park, and it's really beneficial. People will walk for a mile to get here. But baseball is a big deal. It's the only baseball field on this side of town, so many tournaments are held out here. So we are working to stay on top of it, and as you can tell, it's well kept up, and what I would say is the community is a big part of that. They come out every day and they help clean up, and they stay on top of the neighborhood to make sure that it looks great.
And on the flip side, you've got a couple very well utilized and fantastic community centers, the Cora Coleman Senior Center, which is a fantastic senior center, and then the Bob Price Rec Center, named after a former colleague of yours and a terrific man, Mr. Price, a multi-generational center with a walking track for everyone. And we just even added some senior apartments in that area. That's becoming quite a nice little county complex in some ways.
It really is, and what I would say is we're utilizing it, and we're continuing to grow with it. We're revisiting programming on a regular basis to ensure that the kids' needs are met, but also the senior citizen. We have one of the very best people who run that. Kelly does a great job. I wish I could clone her, but we have more and more seniors coming from around the valley to participate in that. Many of the programs that she has there. What I would also say is the senior complex that's across the street just got a national award for one of the best and affordable for our seniors to have the needs that they want. So we're working very hard to ensure that this community out here has all of the assets of some of the brand new communities that have been built.
And of course, you've taken over from your predecessor, Commissioner Collins, who was very instrumental in helping get the Price Community Center in place. And also, you're continuing a tradition on March 3rd. Tell us about what's going on there at the Price Center.
So on March 3rd, we'll have the annual basketball game in Bob Price's honor. It was a pleasure to serve with him in the legislature, and it was great to watch him get named for the community center. So we've already been out with the kids, practice with them a little bit, but I hope that everybody will come out on March 3rd to watch the annual basketball game, and we will promise you a very fun and intriguing. We'll be working with the kids at the high school just down the street. We'll be playing against them, so it'll be interesting as always.
Sure. As that area continues to grow, I know I think that's in line for an emergency traffic signal, and I know you just recently activated one a little bit further down Lake Mead at Sloan. Both of these projects will be taken care of through the fuel revenue indexing. In your opinion, Commissioner, how well has that been working to fund transportation infrastructure, and will continue to do so?
So I think that it's really been a huge asset to the county as a whole. You know, the federal government has changed their formula on transportation funding. The state has had to look at other resources. So this was a way for everybody to win and get real projects done. District B was one of the hardest hit within the economic downturn. Many construction workers were there. And District B has seen a little over 4,000 of its unemployed construction workers go back to work through this. And up to date, we have about 9,000 employees that have gone back to work. But the great thing is we're able to do great things for the community. So on Lake Mead and Sloan, that is a necessary light. Now slows down the traffic coming down Lake Mead. Gives a safe place for people to cross, and it also helps our public safety have the access they need to get across the road there and get to whatever necessary need it is. So I mean, it's about 25,000 vehicles that travel every day down that road, so it was necessary.
And this fuel revenue indexing is just a few cents at the penny that all of us pay to help speed up these transportation projects, and as you say, put them back to work. It'll be on the ballot again in November. Do you support this, Commissioner?
I do support it. I worked very hard on the legislation to actually take it to the county, to let the county have the ability to do it, and I think that it's done a lot of great things. There's about 188 projects that have evolved much sooner. Another one in District B was the Commerce and Revere interchange. We were able to get that 10 years faster than what it was scheduled for. So I encourage people to embrace it, because we have to start planning today infrastructure for the next 10 years.
I think anyone that's lived in Clark County for a while recognizes you, know you were more than a decade serving us in the state legislature. Thank you very much. And many of the things that you did in the legislature are now coming to fruition or overlapping with Clark County. Something we saw quite recently was at Bob Bailey Middle School, the 4th school-based health clinic operated by the Foundation for Positively Kids. This is a great thing. Give us a little talk on the genesis of that.
It really is a great thing, because anytime that you can ensure that you have healthy kids, they do so much better in the classroom, and everybody is really invested in education. And this is an area where they need those on-site services. Transportation is very hard for many of the constituents in this area, but they provide a real avenue to ensuring that they get the shots that they need, that their colds are addressed. And it really has been something that we have fought for years at many of the middle schools, because we feel that is really where you want to catch the kids. And what I will tell you is, if you ever tried to do anything when you had a toothache, you're not very productive. But if the kids can get those services, they'll be a lot more productive in the classroom.
Something else that recently the board has adopted, or through the legislature, was Assembly Bill 386, which gives us at the local level more teeth to evict squatters that are occupying houses they are occupying places they certainly shouldn't be. Give us a breakdown on that, Commissioner.
So really what we were seeing is a lot of people were moving into the foreclosed homes, turning on the power, and there was not an avenue to get them out of that. And what I would say, when 4 out of 5 houses were in foreclosure and you're seeing that, it makes it hard for the community to embrace their area if they don't know who's living there. And what we found is many of these folks were moving in, they were leasing to people months on end, and it would take 8 to 9 months to get the house back. And unfortunately, they took all of the appliances and everything that had any bit of value, so it really created a problem for the entire neighborhood for property value. So this is great. Metro is working. We have a task force in place so that we can ensure that it's a quick, easy process, and to let the squatters know that they're not welcome.
And you're saying this is a good start, but there's a lot more work that needs to be done. What else needs to be done in your opinion, Commissioner?
Well, I mean, this is a good start, because we've been trying for a few sessions to get to make people aware of the problem. But I do think that there needs to be some more teeth. We need to expedite the process. We now post, and it helps. We need to get the community more involved as far as making sure that they know who's in their neighborhood and who should be in their neighborhood. But so they just need to fine-tune some things to make the process a little bit faster.
Commissioner, you're known as a statewide budget hawk, and now it's a county budget that you have to wrestle with for
and
the first
I'm finding pennies every day.
That's fantastic. So what are the differences, or what are your first impressions now of the county's $6.5 approximately billion-dollar budget that you and your colleagues will have to wrestle with in the next few months?
Ironically, it's just about $1 billion short than the state budget today. So it's a very big budget, but there are many things, we're still recovering and coming out of the situation that we were in. So it takes time. What I can tell you is I see some of the same things were put on hold that the state put on hold: capital improvement projects, maintenance. And anytime that you defer the maintenance, it's going to cost you a little bit more the next time, because you probably have to do more work. So there are a lot of very same things, family welfare. That was something that the state just gave them the money and said, okay, make it happen. And I find that maybe we didn't give them enough money, because in 2014 we had over 11,000 calls just on child protective issues. So we're talking seniors now have many of our issues. So the budget is very similar on the things that we need to fund, but I think that the need is probably a little bit higher than most legislators, including myself, ever expected.